another issue of the Economic and Political Weekly. Today I will summarize the contents of our 6th June 2020 issue with you. I'm Leena Matthias, Executive Editor. The first editorial, heightening employment insecurities in the services sector. It says that employers' strategies of pushing layoffs and labor reforms intensify the precarity of employment. It is primarily looking at the predicament of employees in the IT services industry, points out that this sector merits special attention as not only is India a major player in this sector, but it is one of the largest earners of foreign exchange for the country. So, labor reforms and the job cuts and retrenchment in this sector is of serious concern. The second editorial is titled Migration Commission. It says that this is a very welcome announcement, but the Commission's objectives and aims must be drawn up after listening to the workers' voices and their concerns. It notes that the migrant workers seem to be buffeted by not only the circumstances which are beyond their control, but also by the attitude towards them by both the states of their origin as well as the destination states. From the editor's desk, our editor Professor Gopal Guru's column is this time titled Black Lives Matter. It deals with the events following the brutal killing of George Floyd in the US. The column notes that these protests have another important layer of moral consciousness to stand on the side of justice. Justice as a universal good to be shared by a person, irrespective of social background, color, or creed. He goes on to say that these protests appear to be equally significant, particularly in the current COVID-19 crisis that poses a real danger to human life. The solidarity that is evident in the widespread protests indicates the consolidation of social consciousness that finds its determined articulation against injustice. Social consciousness, Professor Guru says, represents an outcry against injustice, and moral consciousness represents the cry for justice. In our column Alternative Standpoint, which we carry once a month, the column this time is titled Of Veils and Wheels, Buddhist Lessons in Democracy. The author refers to a genre of tales in Buddhist narrative traditions that relate the ordeals of bodhisattvas who gave of themselves freely to feed the hungry. The author then also refers to the fact that Babasaheb Ambedkar argued that the state, even when acting at the behest of the poorest, must ensure that its authority does not settle into permanent coercion. Importantly, the sovereign power that does this has recourse not to brave words or tantalizing rhetoric. Rather, it acts, endures pain and death, is transfigured into a being that serves the subject, and the results are consequential in a visceral sense. I come now to the commentary section. The first is titled Digital Global Warning and refers to the fact that at present most of our valued goods are digital and we are producing an enormous amount of invisible digital waste. Locked in a crisis, Concerns of Rural Women is the title of the second commentary. This looks at the concerns and experiences of women cultivators across 14 districts in Maharashtra's Marathwada and Vidarbha region, and many concerns, among them of course primarily access to institutional credit and enrollment in job guarantee schemes. The third commentary is titled, What is so wrong with online teaching? Uh, this is a very insightful look from a teacher's point of view, and one of the aspects that is very insightful and interesting is the feminine world of domestic work always adjusts to the supposed impersonal masculinity of the world of productive work. But this so called impersonal masculine productive work sphere will not adjust to the needs of domesticity, points out the author. COVID-19 pandemic and racism in the United States and India is the title of the next commentary. It points out that stigmatization of a certain race, wherever it is, triggers racial division and hinders the collective fight against the pandemic. And not only that, it can be deadly and dangerous to humanity as much as the virus itself. It refers, of course, to racism against people from the northeast part of India and says that the spread of COVID-19 has flared up this racial discrimination and stigmatization of people from this region. Under book reviews this time, we carry the reviews of one, India's Aged, Needs and Vulnerabilities. This is an edited book, edited volume. And the next book is Women and the Puranic Tradition in India. In the perspectives pages, we carry an article titled Understanding Citizenship and Refugees' Status in India. Under special articles, the first is Use of Algorithmic Techniques for Law Enforcement and Analysis of Scrutability for Juridical Purposes. Now, this is a very interesting subject. The authors have looked at the state and central government initiatives which mandate the analysis of social media data for use by the police, and this is supposed to be a sentiment analysis to guide the actions of the law enforcement agencies. So it is supposed to look at a public sentiment analysis, identify behavioral patterns, track the change and increase in chatter, and so on. So the sentiment analysis is what the authors have looked at. A very highly interesting subject. The next special article is titled The Naga Homeland Movement, Historical Trajectory and Contemporary Relevance. It of course situates the homeland movement in the present context vis-a-vis the regional politics of the Northeast region. The third special article titled PM Kisan and the Adoption of Modern Agricultural Technologies. Now this article is based on a study on the effect of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme on 1,406 farmers in Uttar Pradesh, its implementation, role in the adoption of modern technologies, and what are the benefits of this scheme. So all in all, that's an interesting package and mix. Do read us online. Thank you.